So, you know, the glow plug light should come on right there. And I'll try it. No glow plug light. It should be on, you know, right up there. And it just cranks all goofy like. Awesome! She'd be cold, folks. She'd be cold. Oh, almost died. $2,000 Volkswagen Jetta TDI. That means diesel for you, those of you that don't know that. I'm sure everybody watching this knows that, though. It's probably the reason you're watching it. Super cold out. Let me tell you a little bit about what's going on. So yesterday I drove this thing down to my wife's work, and as you can see, there's a lot of miles on it, 262,700. For a diesel, it's not that bad, but for that many miles on it, there are a few little things that could happen here or there. It's been around a while. So I shut it off, visited my wife at work, and then maybe 2 minutes later I went to go restart it, and it wouldn't start. Couple of things I noticed when it wouldn't start, and I've done a lot of research on this, so I'm hoping this can help people. This thing would crank and crank and crank, and it wouldn't start. It wouldn't give me my glow plug light, and it would just crank, 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 but never catch. So I was like, great, this is awesome. Glow plug light's not coming on. Has me worried it's a major thing or something like that, something with the glow plugs. So I left and I went home to go get my toolkit. I came back. I was going to disconnect the battery and reconnect it just to see if that would make any kind of a difference. And the frickin' thing just started up. So that figures it's running, but then once it starts up, it threw a check engine light code. So let me stop there for a moment and let me explain. No glow plug light and crank, 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 crank. Could be that there's a little relay underneath here, and it's relay 109. It could be bad. These things are notorious for having relay 109 go bad, and then things like glow plug light won't come on and car won't start. And then you replace that little, you know, $8 to $20 part depending on where you're going, and bam, it works like magic. But the other weird little things that happened simultaneously with that problem, not only did the check engine light then come on once it did start, I did run the codes, I'll tell you about that in a second, but then the transmission went into limp mode, which means it usually gives you either second or third gear, and it won't shift out of that, and it'll give you reverse still as well. But there's a problem, right? So doing a little bit of research online, some people are saying there's a transmission like output speed sensor kind of a deal. Not a very expensive thing, probably 40 or 50 bucks. Replace that, could fix this from being in limp mode. You know what else fixes it? Putting it in first gear. It'll actually go into first gear, and then I can manually shift the gears up. But from 2 to 3, it's a little weird, and the RPMs will go up a little and then it'll shift. So that's a little awkward, but doing a lot of research, all has to do with more or less that sensor for the transmission output speed thing, rather than an actual transmission problem, which is good news. That means, you know, cheaper. Check engine light codes, there were 3 of them. The last 2 all related to the first one, and I'll put the code in the description of the video because I don't remember what it was, but the code was for engine speed sensor. So it's like, what the heck? So engine speed sensor and then that transmission output speed sensor thing, those are all separate, those are separate sensors. But it seems to be, in my case, all 3 little sensors decided they wanted to be a bitch and caused this random occurrence of multiple problems all at once. Of course, don't you know, that's how things work. So after that, I didn't drive it. After I got it home after having the code read and stuff. I don't know if it's gonna start, but it's cold and frosty out, so we're gonna try it, see what happens. And then I'm gonna check under this. I might have to go back up and get some tools. Oh, just kidding, my tools are right there. And check to see what the fuse looks like under here, that relay 109. just because I'm told that if it's the Relay 109, and I'll show you what it looks like, but if it's black in color, it's probably the original one that came here, you know, from the factory, which means with this many miles on it, that little part needs to get fixed, and then it'll start starting without any problems. Hopefully limp mode will just go away when that happens, but we'll see. And then if it's not black, it's actually gray, then gray means it's got the newer updated one. It still probably wouldn't hurt to just go ahead and replace it. So let's see if we get our glow plug light here when I turn the key forward. Fingers crossed. It came on, folks. It started up. And we do have that check engine light. You are such a bastard. Alright, that being said, it started up, and that relay, as it starts to go out at first, can do exactly this. Leave you stranded or cut out in the middle of driving, and then start and run good for like a week or two before you have another mishap and blah 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 until you get it fixed. This, on the other hand, is that engine speed sensor thing. So I've got a lot going on here with this little car. If any of you guys have ever experienced this type of thing, please leave a comment or something about your experience and what you found it to be. So this is engine speed sensor. Then I have maybe a transmission speed sensor, which is being weird with limp mode. And on top of that, I had that no start situation yesterday where it could be Relay 109. So, like I said, a lot going on with this. I suppose I could just fix all three of these things and then sort of just, you know, see what happens. But, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this bad boy off. And then I'm going to look under here and see what I need to actually get under this panel thing and check out that little relay, show you what it looks like. This totally isn't what I wanted to show you, but this is the one on the side of the dash, and I decided to open it up, and I just wanted to point out, I like cars that do this little thing, like they give you a little pair of fuse tweezers. It's so cool, because you can, if I'm actually holding it the right way, you can sit there and you use it to like grab a hold of one and pull it out. And it makes it so much easier than trying to like scrape your fingernails up trying to get in here. But as you can see, this isn't what I wanted to show you, but I saw it here, so I wanted to take a peek inside just to see if there was anything that might be sort of relevant to what's happening, and there isn't really. So in case you're wondering, it took a little T20 Torx head thing to get these little screws that are shaped all crazy like off. And some persuasion, maybe a little bit more persuasion here. I usually break things when I work on them, so maybe don't quite pay attention to this part. So I might be doing it totally wrong. Let go. Come on. What the hell's stopping you? Oh, it's like this thing. So the side piece has to... There we go. So, that's a good way of doing it, just rip the whole thing apart. Alright, anyway, got it open. Ground copper. Strange hair. Come on, get out of there. Alright. So I got the whole trimming piece out of there, so it looks pretty ugly and barren. Let's take a look under here. Still don't see what I want to see. I think there's another cover we're going to have to remove. I'm actually using the phone's camera to look under here. Yep, I think we're going to have to remove some more junk to get to what we need. Goody. Well, here's what I'm going to try. I think this little metal cover thing is in the way. It's got a bunch of the same little Torx screws. This one up here even. I take this plate off here. See if that gives me what I want. So that helped. But the thing I can tell you right now is this other half of this plastic piece is gonna have to come off to you. So this whole metal thing comes down. And as I was doing this, I peeked inside of here. Remember that relay 109 I was telling you about? Well, there's some relays in here. If I can get the camera kind of where my finger is. And this one right there, you can see where it says 09. I think that's the 109 I'm after. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Such a pain in the butt. Alright, so we got that stupid plate off, and here it is. Just a metal plate that's behind the plastic parts. And as you can see in here now that you've got complete access right under the steering wheel, relay 109. Here's the confusing part. As I told you guys earlier, I was told black box means old version, gray box means new. This thing is like white. If anything, it's kind of like, you know, yellowish old colored. Like, it's just it's like, I don't even know. But it looks relatively original. I don't know if the replacement parts are gonna say made in Germany with the VW Audi logo on here. So that's the confusing part. That being said, I am gonna unplug it, plug it back in, disconnect the battery like I first thought, and then see how long I can drive until I really need to get another one of these. Actually, I'll probably order one of these on like Friday. Today's Sunday, so I've got a ways to go. And, you know, see what happens. What is this? Huh. Cool stuff. Alright, well, I don't see anything else that I can really fiddle with under here. Am I going to put all this back together? Probably not. Probably not till I order a new 109 and get that replaced. But thanks for watching. I know it was an incredibly long video, but if this helped you at all, let me know. Hello, everybody! Alright, so this is just going to be tacked on to the end of the last clip that I made of this video. I haven't actually created the video yet. You can see super high miles, having issues with, hopefully, this relay right here I'm going to replace. And like I said, just to recap, there's some people out there that said the original was black, the replacement is gray, the good one. This one's kind of like off-white. Well, today, like a week later, I finally got my new relay 109 for this thing. And it's gray, just like everybody in these forums that I was looking at, TDI forums and whatnot, said that it would be. I know you got that. And we're gonna put it in. Oh goodness, it's in a whole nother, it's a bag inside a bag. Wow, check this out. This bag that they put it in inside of that bag is so tiny. Like, you can barely get this. I don't even know how they put it on to begin with. It's so perfectly fit, it's ridiculous. Ah. Alright, let's stick her in here. Here's the old 109. Kind of warm, not too warm. With the new 109, the gray one. Doing this using the camera. I wonder if it's built the same. 109, 109. It's not. That's why it's not working. Look at that too. Check this out. The new 109 is significantly smaller. And if you look back here, the contacts are a little different. So you have to actually flip it completely upside down for it to fit. All right. So it's going to be an upside down relay 109. Plugged right in. Even made a neat little snapping sound when it did it. Alright, and as of late, just to give you guys an update, I don't know, so if I'm repeating myself, forgive me, because I made the original video and I'm adding this clip to it, and the period of time that's elapsed has been like a week. So I don't really remember what was said, but I drove around with this after I did the video of taking this apart and showing that relay 109. And of course it's driving around with a check engine light. And then it put this into, like, you know, limp mode or something. So the check engine light went off while driving one day and it started shifting just fine. And then it did it again where it decided it didn't want to start. So drove it around again a little bit. And then one day we started it and the check engine light's back off again. I think that was actually yesterday. And so today the check engine light's been off as well. Look at that down there. Upside down just like that 377 is. So hopefully, because we're going to test it out, it'll continue to not have check engine light. And then it'll always give me my little glow plugs. Glow plugs. Still looks good. All right. And I always got that little airbag light on. Don't really know why, but all right, it started up. So now's the real test after replacing 109 to see if it ever gives us that fail to start situation and make sure that it doesn't throw codes and make the transmission act funky. So, all right, there you have it. New one's installed. Hopefully we're good to go now.